Hi all, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you all how to calculate your retirement amount that is needed. If you've never used a spreadsheet in your lifetime, well, you need to learn now. This is absolutely essential. You need to keep a budget of how much money you need to spend in a year in order to stay alive or live comfortably, any standard of living. My going assumption is an average white collar office worker in India at the age of 25 who's from a decent university would be earning around 6 lakhs a year or 600,000 rupees a year. This is in rupees. You can completely replace it with any other currency that you need, but this is average expectation here. If you're living in an urban area, you'll be living a bare minimum of standard of living. However, we're starting with base level assumptions. You can switch it out for whatever amount you want, but this is how I'm going to keep things simple. If you want to maintain your standard of living, you need to first enter your retirement age. I'm putting 65 here just for assumption. Inflation expectation. This I'm not pulling out of my behind. This is something that I've calculated utilizing the annual growth in our money supply, which is around 13.2%. On average, the Indian money supply grows by 13.2%. So half of that is generally allowed to be the inflation figure on average. So you'll have approximately 6.6% a year. Don't look at the current month's 1.5, 2% or 8% returns, inflation. Those are not trend setters. Those are one-time data points. On average, you'll get this figure, 6.6% on a year-on-year basis. This is the figure you'll come at using the inflation amount compounded annually for how many ever years are left to your retirement, which is 65. So you'll be compounding this at 40 for 40 years at the rate 6.6%. You'll get this figure, 77 lakh 34,000 rupees. I use the future value formula on Excel. You can see I put the rate of inflation here, nominal rate, the rate of inflation, the number of years till retirement, which is your retirement age minus current age, and the present value. This is it. There's no payment because you just put in the amount here. You could use the normal compounding method as well. Like you put in the value of C1, which is your current annual expense. You multiply that by the inflation amount added, and you raise it to the power of the number of years. You'll get the same figure. Same figure. No difference, right? You should not be intimidated by these formulas, these functions. They're quite useful. On average, the amount of return, the percentage returns you can expect from any mutual fund or the Nifty or the SENSEX is 12% across several decades. Don't look at the past 5 years or 10 years of data. That's not a sustainable amount. There will be financial crises and recessions in between. On average, it will converge to around 10-12% a year. This will be compounded every year, so that's good news for you. And you place your expectation. Let's assume you're going to live for 95 years. You put that here. So since retirement age of 65 and the expected age where you don't need to live anymore, that's 30 years. So you need to discount the amount needed. This is the amount you'll be spending every year because this is expected expenses at retirement. 77 lakhs a year will be needed to retire comfortably 40 years from now. If you're spending 6 lakhs a year, this is just a basic expectation, a basic assumption. You could put in whatever number you want. For the sake of simplicity, I've put in 6 lakhs. Somebody who's earning 6 lakhs a year will need 77 lakhs a year to be able to fund the same level of lifestyle 40 years from now, based on the inflation figure. So if you're pulling out 77 lakhs a year, or whatever this amount is a year, that is yielding 12% a year nominally, and at the inflation expectation of 6.6% annually, you have to discount that number for the remaining number of years of your life, which is 30 years. At the real rate of return. And you calculate the real rate of return by subtracting the inflation expectation from your nominal returns, which is right here, C8 minus C5. You get the real rate of return, you plug it in here. You put in the number of years over here, NPER, which is the longevity minus retirement age, which is 30 years approximately. And you put in your annual expenses over here as PMT or payment. There's no future value, and this is just compounding. This is the discounted value that is required at retirement, approximately 12 crore rupees nominally speaking. But you don't have to be intimidated by this figure. Anybody earning 6 lakhs a year can make this amount if they're 25 years old now. By the time they're 65, they can easily invest 6.5% of their, 20%, 1/5 of their salary into a mutual fund or an index fund and retire comfortably at with a corpus of 12 crores, approximately speaking, in 40 years, which is around whatever 10,000 rupee SIP. That's it. And if they wanted to retire right away, but they can continue to work while spending all their salary, they would have to put in roughly 13 lakh rupees today into any mutual fund or index fund and forget about it for 40 years. This is how you calculate your retirement. And you need to know the inflation expectation. If you don't have this figure, you have not done your research. You need the realistic expectation across decades for your mutual funds or index funds. If you don't have this figure, you haven't done your research properly. That's all for this video. Until next time, keep learning.